Good morning. It is Wednesday, April 23rd. And, I'm kind of struggling with this energy today, to be honest with you. I'm pretty petty. I like myself a good I told you so. But right now, I think I'd rather be the crazy paranoid person than be right. Because I don't like what we're seeing. And I know that it's going to get worse. So today, just brace yourself. Like I said, this week is building into quite the event, probably this weekend around Friday or Saturday. And we're starting to see it build already. So today the sun is making its last aspect of this T-square. So it is making a square to Pluto. This is power struggles. It is, as I said on my other video, that it's giving me cliquey energy. Groups against individuals. There's this struggle between wanting to be safe, be comfortable, be secure versus all the destruction that's going on out in the world around us versus the groups that want to maintain control. So really watch out around you for those like power struggles between like an individual and the group. We're really going to see that, and that's what we're really seeing build right now too, with Mars approaching that opposition to Pluto this weekend. So really, it's going to be a difficult day. There are power struggles. It is intense energy here, especially because that T-square is still like releasing into that Scorpio energy. So there is this release into kind of darkness and the intensity, those deep emotions, the things that are hurtful. So watch out for that. The moon is in Pisces today. It's not making any aspects at all. So emotionally and subconsciously, we're kind of like wading through some very foggy waters here. And there's really nothing to like ground it out to with the moon not making any aspects anywhere. The North Node and Venus are still in a conjunction. Saturn is starting to leave that conjunction, but we still have the Venus and North Node now. This is actually a little tricky. Venus is exalted in Pisces, and when we have an exalted planet, things come easy for it. Things tend to just kind of fall in the lap of whoever has these placements, and it's usually kind of nice, but it can also be used kind of like in nefarious ways. It's not really appreciated a lot of times, and sometimes it gets taken advantage of. And that Venus being conjunct the North Node adds more like growth, more like things just coming in for you right now. Just because something is fated, because the North Node, the nodes are fated energy, just because something is fated doesn't mean that thing is meant to stick around. So keep that in mind as you're going through the day. It could just be an interaction that is fated, a conversation that is fated. It's kind of like butterfly effect type of energy. Like this one thing has to happen in order for something else to happen. But we also need to make sure that we're very clear about the whole picture. We're not getting stuck in la la land, because there's going to be a big energy of like escapism today. Watch your sobriety for sure. There's really this energy of like trying to move through the waters, trying to find a place that is comfortable, a place that is safe. And if this little space here gives you that, then you're going to go for it, right? Even if you know that space isn't necessarily the best for you. We've really got to be leaning on that intuition. The North Node puts us in an uncomfortable space in order to move us forward. Following your nodal path, following your North Node is not easy. It is very difficult because you have to leave your comfort zone. And even in the transits, it's going to feel the same way. You got to let go of that hypercritical, having to have all the information before making decisions, and lean on being more divinely guided and following your intuition to move forward here. And again, with the moon not making any aspects, it's just very foggy energy. And there's really going to be a temptation towards escapism. And quite honestly, I don't blame you. I want to do it too. Just make sure that you're listening to your intuition as you go through the day, because this is tough, intense energy, and we need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves and not getting too deep into our emotions here. Okay, so let me pull some cards for the energy of the day. Oop. The star, that is very Piscean, not gonna lie. So this is like that looking for hope, looking for that light at the end of the tunnel. It is healing energy. The star is when you're in this space where you're getting into that healing space where you're starting to see the other side, but you're just not quite there yet. Oh, ears ringing. So there is that energy of this is healing, right? All of that Piscean energy, like it's the end of the zodiac, right? So it's carrying the weight of the entire zodiac. It's ending the cycle so that you can start new when everything starts moving into Aries. So there is this healing energy here. Pay attention to the conversations that you're having with others. Like I said, that Venus North Node conjunction, those are fated connections. They are fated conversations. Pisces can be incredibly healing energy when it's used properly, okay? So really pay attention to that. There is like an energy of healing so that you can get into this next step here. Okay, what's to focus on today? Yeah, we are definitely Pisces heavy today. I don't want 2 cards. I just want 1 card, please. Just 1, please. And again, Neptune ruling the moon and Saturn and the North Node and Venus. That is giving us this kind of taking action from an intuitive space as well. But watch any kind of, my brain just stopped. Watch out for impulsiveness, okay? Don't be too impulsive when it comes to taking action, okay? Focusing on the 4 of Wands. Where is that happiness? Where is your, where's your stability? Where is your place that gives you a sense of safety? So really, we're going to focus on that today. Like I said, very escapism kind of energy today, and sometimes we need that, okay? We really do. And things are rough, and they're going to keep getting more difficult, so make sure that you are taking those times to take a step back. Be careful on your decisions while you're doing that, and don't let yourself get sucked into any kind of shady, manipulative stuff just because things are hard. But definitely pay attention to where your safe place is, where your stability is, where your happiness truly is, okay? Lean on that healing energy of Pisces instead of that like scary, everything is emotional, let's run away from it type of energy, okay? What to avoid today? What does collective need to avoid today? Gosh dang it. That's cute. I'm going to show you guys. I'm not going to keep them just because it's too many. But yeah, it was 3 of Swords, Ace of Cups, and 9 of Swords. Don't take that new offer that you know is going to hurt you. That's going to put you, bring up your traumas and shit. Don't do that, okay? But 1 card, please. All right. 7 of Pentacles. So if somebody comes around that you know is going to be a problem, right? Don't try to fix it. Right? Like there's going to be this real temptation to want to fix things that you're comfortable with. Let's not do that. So the 7 of Pentacles is all about like weeding the garden, getting rid of what doesn't work, right? So we don't want to try to fertilize something that you know very well isn't going to grow. Okay? You don't want to waste the energy on that. It's also this energy of kind of boredom, right? Like you want to, sometimes you want to be so comfortable when things get crazy enough. Sometimes you just want to be bored, right? So we go to a place of comfort, a place that we know how to be and we know where we belong, right? We go to that space of comfort despite it having hurt us in the past, just so that we can be bored for a bit. Sometimes it's needed, okay? So make sure that you're avoiding that. You're not falling into like that trap. 3 of Swords on the bottom. So there is this like heartache, very betrayal type of energy that's underlying here. And we're trying to just kind of step away from that for a bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you're not fooling yourself when you do, okay? Clarifiers for the Star. Clarifiers. Maybe. The dog is snoring so loud over there. She snores like a grown man. We have a Page of Swords, and let's give you some, like I said, these conversations, the interactions, the one-on-one interactions, they could be healing. Hell, you might even find people like confessing and stuff at this point in the Empress. This actually does give me this Pisces North Node conjunction energy here. It's almost like there's some healing information that comes in, some kind of information that tells you, like I said at the beginning, I like myself a good I told you so, right? When I've been accused of being paranoid or insecure or whatever, when I point something out and then that person comes back to me and goes, wow, yeah, you were right? Maybe you see something like that come in. But the Page of Swords is usually a messenger. Sometimes it's kind of shady-ish, but not always, right? It's just words. And the Empress here is about abundance. It's about comfort. It's about that stability. So you really could see some type of information come in today about that. Venus is also finances. So you really might see something coming in, some kind of information coming in financially or relationship-wise that gives you a little bit of hope. Okay, so make sure you latch onto that. Hold on to that, okay? Clarifiers for our 4 Wands. We have Queen of Cups. This is really just all about being realistic and taking care of yourself at the same time. The spiritual community is so bad about bypassing, emotional bypassing for the sake of staying positive, right? You can stay positive while also being realistic, okay? You can stay grounded and still have hope. If you're bypassing things and trying to say, oh no, I'm just going to stay positive, oftentimes you're going to get hit out of nowhere like a Mack truck somewhere because you weren't preparing, because you weren't facing reality. You can face reality and still have hope at the same time, okay? So I just felt like I needed to say that. Queen of Cups and the Emperor. Hey, look at you. Okay. Your relationships with others are important, okay? You've got maybe an Emperor in your space who wants to have a conversation. Take the time to have the conversation. Like I said, these connections are fated. There is something in them, even if they're not meant to stick around. There is something there, okay? This could very well be relationships, okay? But just make sure that you're listening to that intuition because karma is about to get those relationships here very shortly as well. So make sure you're listening to your intuitions. Have the conversation. Slow down, though. Don't make any rash decisions, but focus on that happiness. The world is rough right now. Things are hard. We're all seeing things in a different light that we didn't want to see. A lot of people have been ignoring this coming for a long time. Open yourself up to that conversation. Have the empathy, the compassion, and allow these things to happen. Focus on that. See who wants to talk to you. See who wants to have the conversations. Definitely be open to it and find the hope and the healing in it, right? Just don't make any rash decisions on it because things are so foggy right now. Clarifiers on these 7 of Pentacles. I want to explain actually what I mean by this because we saw this happen yesterday and this has been like really irking me here. When I say that we're not seeing the whole picture, that because Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, right? And Jupiter's in Gemini. Everything is surface level. Everything is kind of wishy-washy and to get that like all over the place type of energy, and it's information overload. And we're not really seeing the entirety of what's happening, right? Yesterday we saw that they are implementing the autism tracking registry, whatever, and they plan on using private medical records and fitness trackers and smartwatches and Fitbits to gather this information. This is why you need to pay attention to the entirety of a situation, because the only reason they're able to do that. The only reason that's even an option is because Roe versus Wade was overturned. Roe versus Wade was sold as just about abortion, but it wasn't. It was about your right to medical privacy. Overturning that opened up the door for the government to access your medical records to create an autism registry. And that'll go well beyond autism, by the way. Just to put that out there. So this is why you have to pay attention to the entirety of what's going on and not take anything at face value right now. And while it is important to have the conversations, it is important to hear what other people have to say. It is important to have empathy and compassion for the folks that are kind of starting to come around, especially. It's also important to make sure that you're listening to what is not being said as well. Pay attention to where people are keeping things on surface level and make sure you're looking at that whole picture. Sorry, had to put that one out there because that was bugging me this morning. Clarifiers for our Seven of Pentacles here. Why are we avoiding the Seven of Pentacles? Oh, 10 of Wands and Wheel of Fortune. So it's like, don't allow other people to put their weight on you. And I want to be clear here. Just because somebody wants to talk about something, just because somebody tells you that something is going on in their life or whatever, that doesn't mean that they're asking you to take on their weight, right? Sometimes it's just them trying to get stuff off their chest. Sometimes it's them just saying, hey, don't add to this. I've got all this stuff going on. Please don't make it worse, right? So don't brush people off when they're wanting to have a conversation about something, but also you don't have to take on their stuff either. You can sit there, you can listen to them, you can let them unload, you can let them get things off their chest. You can let them tell you how much they're already carrying. You don't have to take any of that though, okay? So if you're out here trying to fix things with people, ask yourself, is fixing this going to overwhelm me and keep me from moving forward? Because it is our own personal responsibilities to work on ourselves. It is not other people's, but we're in a world that kind of almost tells people that they need to, lean on everybody else, right? We can't do that. I've done it. We've all done it, but we can't do that. We've got to understand that working on ourselves is our responsibility. That doesn't mean that you can't tell other people, hey, I've got all this stuff on my plate. Please don't add to this, okay? But really ask yourself, is doing the work on this, is trying to make this work going to make things too heavy for me and keep me from moving forward, keep me from moving that wheel forward? So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Absolutely have the conversations. Absolutely, hear people out. But make sure that you're not taking on things that are not yours. Make sure that you are leaning on the healing work that you've been doing. You're listening to the information. You're taking in the whole information. You're listening to your intuition to guide you on this. But just don't take on more than you can handle. If things are already too heavy for you, make sure that you make it clear to other people, hey, I'll listen, but I cannot help you with anything. I can't take any of your weight for you.